welcome back, everyone, to the Offsides Podcast, the unofficial official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. As always, I'm your host, Andres Robledo, and I'm joined by my co-host, still in a undisclosed location, hiding from the bookies, Pablo Robledo. Pablo, how's the hideout going?
Not too bad, not too bad. They're still looking for me. Never gonna get me.
Still on the lam, and
Yeah, I gotta turn my. Go ahead.
let's say, and we have some history on the podcast. We have our first guest speakers, guest stars. We were on their show this past weekend. Please give a round of applause, everyone in the live studio audience, to Herman and OSG. How you guys doing today? You guys have a good Fourth?
Man, it was an excellent weekend, minus the match, of course. But this is OSG, by the way. But thank you for having us on today, man. Historic moment. Unfortunately, a historic moment. As far as how the game. But come on, man, how you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm doing excellent, dude. We're the result was not what we wanted, but we're still living in the US of A, baby. Good place to be. We'll get them next week, man. It's okay. But I'm doing good. Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure. Hate
It's
that
an
y'all
honor.
stole the 3 points. Yeah, it's an honor. But it was good. It was entertaining. Back and forth match, and honestly, that's what you want to see when you go watch a match, right?
Absolutely,
Both teams go at it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be jumping into that later in the show. But yeah, I mean, we're super excited to have you guys on. We had a lot of fun on your guys' show, and just thought, having you guys on ours to recap the match made a lot of sense. Since we did a preview where a couple of predictions didn't really go the way we thought it was gonna go, but I thought it just made a lot of sense to bring you guys back and just recap the match. And yeah, the first road win's definitely the cherry on top, but we will get to that. First, we're going to cover the Austin match, but before that, Pablo, any other notes or comments or anything before we jump into the Austin match real quick?
No, I didn't see too many news or changes in the Charlotte side between the game and now. I don't know if anything happened on Houston that you guys want to let us know about.
So as far as Houston, obviously Ache, he's here. He's finally here. He's training, and I think what is it? Thursday, July 7th is his official day. He's here and a part of the Dynamo. But we introduced him, and he's been practicing, and he's ready to introduce himself on July 9th and play some games. But as far as that, the summer window's opening, and we're looking to improve some more.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
And
Charlotte wasn't quite ready to unveil the Messi Ronaldo signing that's going to be announced later this year.
Not yet. Still working on it. Ronaldo still has a chance.
yeah. If Messi joins Charlotte FC, I'm buying a Messi Charlotte FC jersey, man. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I think if he does it, I'm
Alright.
buying a lottery ticket.
Right, yeah.
10, 30, 19, all his jersey numbers. That's gonna be the winning ticket too. Watch.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. Awesome. Well, listen, we had 2 matches over the last week since we last did an episode. We had the Thursday night match against Austin FC, and then we traveled away on Sunday to play the Houston Dynamo. So way to go, show Texas what's up. Let's say it was a decent decent result of the Texas stint of our season. But let's go ahead and jump into the Austin match. Pablo, give me your kind of first thoughts on the Austin match, and we'll just do this briefly. Let's just go ahead and do the whole match, no breaking up of the halves.
Yeah, for as far as like Austin goes, I know they're sitting at pretty high up there on the tables in regards to just overall MLS. I think maybe third overall. So this was probably one of the strongest opponents we faced. Overall, I thought we did pretty well. It seemed very similar to like the LA Galaxy match where everybody thought we were going to lose like 2-0, 3-0. We held up our own. We had a good bit of possession. We had a lot of attacking opportunities, and we just couldn't, capitalize on any of them. And then Austin just made every little bit count for the ball possession they had. I think overall it was like a 60-40 possession, 60 our way. What was it? In the first half, Austin also had that handball that I don't think got called by the ref.
No.
That didn't get called back, right?
No, it did
Yeah,
not.
it was like around the 43rd minute. That was pretty sloppy of the ref there. But we also had just the loss of missed opportunities. Walks had that missed shot there around the 49th minute. But I was gonna ask you about that. If Walkus gets a good shot off there, do you think it goes in? Because he had a lot of bodies in front of him still. Like, any chance of that thing going in?
I don't know. It's hard to say, right? I mean, sometimes it gets through all the bodies. Sometimes it just ricochets off someone. I think he was kind of trying to just take everyone out of the equation and just chip it over everyone, if I'm not mistaken. And just didn't quite get it. But I mean, we had other chances too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Boogs had a great shot. Bronico had a great shot. Serdersky had a shot get ricocheted off someone. A couple of poor decisions in the final third of just not finding that last pass or just taking a little too long to try to make it. So I would say, the result the game was very similar to the LA game in the matter of like, I felt like in this scenario we were LA and Austin was us, where they were just kind of holding on for dear life. I mean, they were just defending a lot, just shutting us down in the middle.
Yeah.
But then they got almost the exact same goal that like LA got, just LA did it on the further left side of the field. But I mean, super similar goal, just outside the box into the top corner, no way to save it. But frustrating result. But I would say the performance was definitely a lot better than what everyone thought it was going to be, especially against a top 3 team in the West. Yeah, I mean, definitely left disappointed. But again, as we have to constantly remind ourselves, brand new team's only been together a couple months, like a whole new coach again. Like, our coach has only been, that was what, his 4th match. So the team's making big strides each week. So can't stay mad for too long, especially how they delivered on the road. But before we move to that, I mean, Herman, OSG, any thoughts on the Austin match? I know you guys said you watched a little bit of it.
I know OSG did attentively.
I was super mad. y'all had the possession. Y'all played better than Austin did that game, and then y'all. I was so mad. Y'all let Austin get that goal, and y'all couldn't beat them. I was 100% rooting for y'all the entire time. It was just I have no love, no nothing for the little green speedo guys from the 512. So that's how I feel about them. I was mad at y'all, and y'all came here. But
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else left to say about that match. Pablo, any final thoughts?
No, kind of the same way. Second half, Pineda goes in around the 59th minute, and then like 61st minute he scores. It felt like there was an equalizer coming right after that. It wasn't like demoralizing. Guys were like right back on the game plan, and it felt like something was coming, but we never did. I kind of got to tip the hat a little bit to the Austin goalkeeper. I mean, he was just commanding that airspace there in his box. Like, he was not letting any crosses come in.
Well, it helps when you put them all into the 6-yard box.
Well, yeah, he's a pretty lengthy guy too. So, yeah. But
if you can force him to make a mistake, he'll make a mistake. And like he just pointed out, they were all just too close to him.
Yeah,
no mistake happened. Y'all could have beat them. Y'all could have beat them.
You're speaking for thousands of Charlotte fans right now. I think everyone feels that way.
Yes. Yes, I know y'all felt it. I know y'all felt it. Just at the same page.
Well, hey, let's go on to what the fireworks were all about this past weekend. The great nation of the U.S. of A. decided to celebrate all across the country. Charlotte FC's first road win. I think they're declaring it a federal holiday now, so everyone's gonna get the 4th off for the road win. That's I'm pretty sure that's what all the parades and celebrations are about. I could be wrong, but don't correct me. But Pablo, I think in honor of making history and the team making history, I think we let our guests have first words on the match. And guys, just like typically we do it by halves. So give us your initial thoughts on the first half, how the game played out, and just what you were thinking by the end of halftime.
Jim. I'm gonna let
So
Herman, but
yeah,
Jim is my first half word. Jim, but Herman, I'm gonna let you go first.
all right. So just for perspective for your listeners, so obviously we were last place last year. We're in the middle of a rebuild, brand new owner
Yes,
who's willing
bro.
to spend, which is got us very excited. Obviously, H, but we also have some decent players on the squad that are part of the team of the future. We were charping at each other during the match, which was fantastic. I loved it, honestly. Chirping on Twitter, but I've been asking for Dynamo to play in the formation they came out against y'all, because I believe when Hector Herrera gets here, uh, it'll give us an opportunity to play all of our best players in their best positions. So that was basically a diamond formation in the midfield, so very narrow. I bring this up to explain why it seemed like we were constantly bombarding crosses or cutbacks, because the only attack you're going to get from the wings is going to be the wing backs going forward. And that left us susceptible in the back. Now, the first half, it started like the first 10-15 minutes, it was all Charlotte FC. I think there was and I don't know any of your players, so I apologize, but I know there was a scoring opportunity right off the bat where it was a cross and he headed it and it hit the post, bounced right off.
Mhm.
And shortly after, like that's when we get the tweet, "Hey, are y'all nervous? Are y'all scared?" I'm like, I'm not, because because a little bit after that, like it started to shift. Like we started to settle down and get a little bit of possession and start creating those chances where we play them out wide and then start doing those crosses, right? And I felt like it was only a matter of time before we scored. I didn't feel nervous at all. But then I started to notice that, okay, they're clogging up the middle. Our most dangerous man by far is number 9, Sebas Ferreira, but he was playing with his back against the keeper, and he's not gonna do you any good there. His best attribute is setting him up, and he'll finish one if you set it up for him. Um, so he was playing with his back against the wall, not being effective, and then we just kept crossing them, and cross after cross, you're starting to get frustrated. So by halftime, I'm like, I felt optimistic slightly after you tweeted at us, and then I'm like, okay, guys, like we haven't created a goal scoring opportunity, and then Charlotte comes up once, nice attack, we can't clear it, and we put it in the wrong net. So it's a little bit frustrating. I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. I don't want to think that way, but at halftime I was thinking that. So that's my thoughts in the first half. OSG?
So, Herman,
Yeah,
I
go
got
ahead.
I got two questions in regards to what you said. So, is this y'all's first on goal of the season?
I don't think so. I think Teenage Hadibi and OSG will back me up. He knows. I think what one of our DPs is
No, it
a
was
center back.
teenage.
It was
It was
Teenage,
teenage.
right? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Teenage. One of our DPs is a center back. We signed him from the Turkish league, I believe.
Mhm.
strong, physical, fast. I'm a big fan of him. Sadly, he didn't play due to accumulation of yellow cards, so he had to sit this one out. But he had scored an own goal earlier this year.
Mm, okay. Yeah, we've had one
He's
earlier.
just wild. He's
He's
wild.
wild. He's
I call him
reckless.
the Tasmanian
Reckless.
devil.
Reckless.
Tasmanian
Yeah.
devil. He's all over the place. He's tall, lengthy, crazy, skinny guy that's just he just reaches out and his legs are everywhere. And next thing you know, the ball deflects and goes in. That's demons for you. So no, that was our second season.
Yeah, if I was a coach, if I was a coach, I'd put him as the number 5 because he feels comfortable going forward with the ball at his feet for a center back. So, but yeah, Tasmanian Devil is the perfect way to describe that man. So yeah, he scored an own goal earlier this year, trying to clear a ball, I think.
Oh, and I only ask because we've had one earlier in the season as well, where Kuruho, who is probably our number 1 or number 2 defender right now, he goes to clear it out, and I think it rebounds off somebody and it goes in or something like that, where we had our own goal because of him, but. It happens. You got to move on from those, which I felt like Houston did. They just kept going. But my second question to you guys was, with Hector, a pretty big signing for Houston as you guys are doing the rebuild. Who is he taking off the starting lineup?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, we don't have. You can take your pick. You can close your eyes, look, choose the midfielders that we have on the roster, and you can't go wrong picking anybody, dude. The only player that I think is unbenchable from the midfield, and I don't know if he stood out to y'all. If y'all remember the episode we did, I said he was like a box to box, and he did all the dirty work. Number 20,
Yes,
with
he
the
did. He
afro.
did stick out for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's untouchable. Like in the midfield, anybody else you can sit. In my opinion, Darwin is the wild card, right? Darwin Quintero, because he's not gonna give you the full 90, but it's the moment of magic. And I told you guys this.
Well, he
I
played
can
what,
live
like
with
88 minutes, right? Something like
yeah,
that. 85, 88. He almost played the full 90.
because they've been watching his minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah. So but those two are the only ones that I wouldn't touch. So based on this starting lineup that we had, who would get benched for Ache? The answer is Seren. The second answer, number 24. The second answer would be the guy that.
Hold on. Come on. Seren's not getting benched because he's not a starter. So you
Right.
have Coco Vera DQ. All right, Coco Vera DQ. Now you're
I was
keeping
gonna say
3.
Vera. Yeah.
Ache, Coco is staying. So it works both ways. We have all 4. Vera and DQ are going to switch places. So Vera, Hector Herrera, and Coco Carrasquilla are going to start in the 3. And then they're going to put DQ out on the wing because we're going to stay with this 4-3-3 formation. And we have to figure out a way for DQ to fit. Right now, DQ's playing in more wing because our wings suck. And we need somebody to try to do something out there. So they just kind of fit him in there just to start the midfield. If we had the wingers, Vera is the one who is sitting the bench, and he's our center defensive midfielder. So you have Hector Herrera, who is more of a defensive type, not an offensive type. You have Coco Carrasquilla, who is a box to box, and then you got Darwin Quintero, who's the magic man. That would technically be your starting midfield. Seren is a depth center defensive midfielder who comes in late in the game when you're winning the game to hold it down for you. After that, we have no depth. Memo Rodriguez, he can play wing, he can play attacking midfield, but there's rumors that he's out the window too. So right now, our depth is lackadaisical.
Interesting.
Any other comments on the first half for you guys?
I wish y'all could have got those chances. That was y'all got the own goal. Yeah, and we talked about it in space the other night, and it was just like y'all just what y'all did is y'all put yourselves in the final third and just put pressure on us, and the pressure was enough for y'all to find the own goal and just keep putting us on our heels. And I think that just changed the momentum for the game, and it affected the game going into halftime and later on in the second half. And so, y'all controlled the first half per se, even though possession looked a little different. But I think y'all style stood out more than our style did.
Yeah.
But I think it stood out because we kind of went looking for the goal too aggressively. So we set up ourselves. We were vulnerable in the back, and the thing that comes to mind is like shortly after y'all scored the first goal, like 5 minutes later, if my memory doesn't fail me, there was a play where y'all stole the ball from us in our own half, and then I think it was number 11 that sends a beautiful ground cross to number 7, wide open net, and he mishits it. Like that should have been 2-0.
Yeah.
Y'all had us, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I felt a little bit optimistic going in the second half because we were playing well, but we weren't creating the clear chances. Unlike y'all came a few times, but they were clear scoring opportunities. Like they should go in the net, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
definitely had a
missed
couple of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think people just said it, but we especially Yazviak the last couple of games, he's missed a couple of just wide open shots. But he's not the only one. We kind of tend to do that where some games could be, 3-1 or 3-0, or like just run up the score more, which we need right now, especially where we're sitting at the tables and it helps the goal differentials and all that stuff. But that's just how it goes.
That guy, and I'm probably jumping the gun too fast, but I think he starting the second half, like 5 minutes starting the second half, there was a ball. I don't know how the hell it made its way through our defense from the left side of the pitch. It was a ground through ball for number 7 again.
Yeah.
And if he had just cut it to his left, that's an easy goal. But he went on his right and then he missed it again, dude.
He took one too many steps. Waited 2 seconds too late there.
Yeah.
He's kind of on my like, I think he might stink list. I'm keeping an eye on him, but he might stink.
Those two chances, he makes them, game over, done.
Oh yeah,
3-0, finito. It's like
Sunday fireworks early.
Yeah, fireworks are early. I would even stay for the fireworks. I'd be pissed, honestly, dude. But thankfully he didn't. He gave me hope.
What was that you said on your episode?
It's the hope that kills you. And I told you that when we recorded,
right? You said exactly that.
Oh boy.
Well, we did, but Houston did come out firing like right at the beginning, like right around the midway the 10th minute. Houston had a shot by Sebas, I believe it's number 9.
Right, it's one of those cutbacks by a right back. It was a short dude on the right, number 37, Seca. He's one of our signings this year. He goes so good with the attack, with Darwin. He links up so well on the right flank, Yeah, and he keeps setting those crosses, but the ones on the ground, the cutbacks are the dangerous one in my opinion. And that's the one that Sebas had that the goalie made a good save. Sebas just put it on target. He did his job, in my opinion. As a striker, just put it on target, let the goalkeeper save it,
What I liked about, and I don't mean to cut you off there, but what I liked about that shot and that play was how Quintero still makes that run to draw the defense, so your guy can have the shot and the play there. And I thought that was like very unselfish, very high IQ of Quintero. Just unfortunate you couldn't capitalize on it. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, like, man, this guy's really going to make a difference.
Unfortunate, it's a strong word, Pablo.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's the hashtag of the season for the Dynamo.
Yeah. OSG was a coach back in the day, so he would appreciate that run by Darwin Quintero. But that is a good, high IQ. That's unselfish. That's playing for the team.
Yeah, and you saw it. We'll discuss it later in the second half. But you saw that nice little scoop pass he had.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah, Any other highlights
Some
you want to
FIFA.
cover there, Andres, on the first half?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on a couple of the starting lineup changes. We see Reyna back in the starting lineup. Interestingly enough, no Rios on the team at all, no Alcivar, no Ortiz. I think the coach said it was just because they were fatigued and he wanted a very fit and physical team for Houston. He thought that would be best, and I don't know. I think that's just a polite way of saying he's kind of, and I guess we'll see, come this weekend. But I took that as saying he's kind of done seeing the low work rate of these guys. These guys think they deserve to be out there for the full 90 and just jog around the whole time. We've seen some flashes of brilliance from Ortiz and Alcivar, and to give Ortiz credit, he looked good against Austin. But maybe it's just too little, too late for him. Alcivar's looked terrible since his Olympico goal. He's looked really bad, I think.
Yeah.
And Rios just continues to dive off a cliff of how bad he is. It was kind of funny. I saw some people after the game or after the Austin game and before this game being like, Rios, if we would have played Rios, he would have won. Why aren't we taking Rios? And, I, at the Austin game, I tweeted out like when Rios got subbed on, like, this guy's not going to be your game winner. And Bank Spears in soccer on Twitter, he's a big Charlotte FC fan. Yeah, he just gave me the stat like, yeah, Rios has 6 goals in 47 MLS appearances. Like, that's not the guy that's gonna go get the job done and get the late equalizer. So really glad to see him dropped. I can't imagine he's feeling fatigued. Like, he played 3 minutes against Austin, so I think it is just a sign of change coming to the team. Finally, we see Quinn McNeil start. Clearly, that match against Montreal had a really big impact on Latanzio. He was someone who, and I'm not sure if you guys know, some of the issues we had with our first manager, Miguel Angel Ramirez, but Quinn McNeil was an undrafted rookie out of Clemson. Charlotte FC signed him, and Miguel didn't even take a phone call from him, immediately sent him down to the Charlotte Independence, which is a USL team. And, he comes and plays against Montreal because we had 10 guys missing, and immediately just everyone was craving more of him. Put an outstanding performance, and I think did it again against Houston. He's very physical, carries the ball forward, is able to keep it well. Really good passer. So I think you're just going to start seeing that change, and then I think some of the guys Miguel brought in are just going to start to slowly see their way out. And that's kind of all. In our back line, we finally got to play our best back line, I would say. I think we played it against Austin as well, but that back line of Awful, Corujo, Walks, and Fuchs just looks so good. I mean, I'm not worried about any of them now, especially with Fuchs back there again. That just gives us an extra player that can go forward and find really good passes. So really, really happy with the midfield changes. And Sergio Ruiz started as well over Ben Bender, which was actually a big surprise. What do you think of the changes, Pablo?
Yeah.
I actually have.
Oh, go ahead.
I actually I was surprised to me, and maybe it was to the formation, but we were kind of. I know Derek Jones still 5 games for y'all, started 5 games for y'all, and like was subbed out 3 of those, but we were kind of expecting him to kind of play. And when you mentioned that you were going to go kind of a physical mentality with Charlotte, I was like, where's Derek Jones? Where's Derek Jones? We were kind of looking forward to playing against him. What happened with him? He wasn't even in the on the bench.
No, I don't think he traveled at all.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Sicker and injured. Okay. Houston, I think we talked about this a lot. Our Houston fans were looking forward just to seeing Derek Jones. Hopefully, we were going to beat him, but we were looking forward to seeing him. And I know he's a fan favorite of y'all, the way y'all were talking about him. So it was just disappointing that he wasn't. I didn't know nothing about him. We didn't get to see him. Didn't get to cheer at least anything on my side. But that was it.
Well, I will say we're probably the vocal minority when it comes to Derek Jones. I've liked everything I've seen of him, especially like some of the guys we were mentioning earlier of like Alcivar and Ortiz. I think he could easily take their role, and in the match that he scored against against New York. That's he took one of those guys off and played their role as like the number 8. So I'm surprised he isn't getting more game time. Like he always puts in a good performance. I think the issue is we just have a lot of not necessarily like depth, but we just have a lot of players at that midfield role, and that is where the most competition's coming from. And after that Montreal game, we found 2 more guys in Quinn McNeil and Chris Hagar. So it's just hard to break into that midfield 3 right now.
Well, I'll say
Who
it's
knows what might happen after the
depth.
transfer window or what.
Right. So it obviously has to be depth, right? Because you just brought him in this season. You gave us some good money that we needed to use to bring in our own players. So obviously y'all have depth, and he's just not making the cut right now. But I know he's somebody I like, but I don't know what the coach thinks about it. So we wish him the best. So, but we were just surprised not to see him. We were hoping for him, but doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I did. When I saw the starting lineup, I did feel a little bad. I was like, man, I kind of gave them some false information. We talked up Bender. He's not starting.
No.
I can't remember who else we talked to. Probably Ortiz a little bit. He didn't play.
I think only the Polish striker was the one that got to play out of the ones we were highlighting.
Yeah. Paul,
Well,
any
that's
other thoughts
another
on the
thing
lineup?
too. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's another thing too with our lineup. It's never like there's never like a set back to back lineup. Like it's constantly changing because of like how many, especially that midfield. Like you guys just covered. Like we have so many options for that midfield. Like Reyna, we seen like anytime he goes in, he's great, and you think he's gonna get another start, and then you won't see him for like 3 or 4 games later. Same with Jones. He played against I think the last time before the Red Bulls, he might have been in the Open Cup.
Yeah.
Maybe even before that. And he puts in a excellent performances, and you don't see him for 2-3 games later. And it's kind of like the same with most of these guys. Well, not most, but with some in that midfield. But no, I'm right there with you guys. Like I was expecting Jones to start, or at least come in off the bench, but he didn't even travel. Who else? Reyna. I was surprised to see Reyna. I was surprised to see Ruiz. I was surprised to see who is it? McGinnis.
McNeil. Yeah.
McNeil. That's right.
That was the biggest surprise, I would say. I think to everyone.
Right. But you see, like those guys that are not known, they don't have too many minutes. Like those guys go in there and they play hard for every minute that they're given, because like a lot of these guys are trying to secure their team role. So, Rios, Alcivar, Ortiz, those guys, Andres and I have been kind of talking like these guys seem to play like they're getting paid by the hour, or just out there taking space, where some of these other guys are like playing like this is going to be their last game. So
yeah,
I wasn't too disappointed with the lineup. I was good with it.
Yeah, I was too. I thought it was much needed changes. It was very welcome surprise, especially to see McNeil in the starting lineup. But yeah, Paul, give me your first half thoughts on the match. We kind of heard from the Houston side, and it's funny because it sounds like a lot of the criticisms we've had of Charlotte in the past. It's kind of weird how similar the two teams are. But let me hear from a Charlotte fan's perspective. What'd you think of the first half?
Yeah, so going back to early in the first half, we had that very early attempt by Houston around the 10th minute. Then we had that very nice cross by Reyna over to Soderski. Too bad the post save him on that one.
Can we stop there for a second and talk about that header? I mean, if he scores that, that's almost like mirror image of the header Ronaldo scored for Juventus. I mean, he got way up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ronaldo.
Like he's the greatest for a reason.
Well,
hey, calm down.
Whoa.
Not my goat.
Everyone.
Can we just put the Charlotte? Beep. Yeah, I know.
Look, I saw his potential before he was even great at Manchester. I call you can ask
Yeah, that's
Andres.
very
I was like,
true. That's
this
very
guy.
true.
I was like, this guy's gonna be good. And man, I didn't think he was gonna be that great. And you looking at his stats and his trophies, you gotta admit, I mean, he's a little above normal.
Yeah,
But
slightly
no,
above.
I mean,
Oh,
that guy
for sure.
jumped high.
Yeah, no one's arguing that. Yeah, for sure.
But not my
No,
goat.
he's a good player.
You saw
And now
anybody
he's
in the
going to
Dynamo?
Chelsea.
You saw anybody in the Dynamo that reminded you of Ronaldo? To anybody? You were like, yeah, this guy's gonna be good, or not really?
I will tell you
He
what,
was
I would
confident.
I would take number
I am
20.
a scout.
I would take number 20. The curly headed guy, the box to box. I would take him in a
Oh, hell
heartbeat.
yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
He's a baller.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The good thing about him is he's 23, so he's about to start blossoming, and he's an important piece for his national team in Panama. So yeah, he's
And
a
we
good
have
player.
2 more years now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna ask
sorry
you,
to cut you off there,
if
Pablo. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna ask you if you think if Rios is starting over Sidorsky, does Rio even touch the ball or does it go in? I mean, I kind of know your answer, but I just want to hear you say it.
Like if it didn't have hit the Houston Dynamo defender, does Rios put that away? Is that what you're asking?
I'm saying if Reina crosses that ball and Rios is on the other end, is he even down there?
No, he's
does
probably like at the top of the box, like checking out his hair or something. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way he
figured
makes that run, and there's no way he can jump that high.
Yeah, he's tall, but he's just. I mean, we haven't seen any headers go off of him, and the goals he's had have been very easy cherry picking goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, I think around the 27th minute, that's when we had, unfortunately for Houston, they had their own goal. Reyna sends the ball to Yazviak, and Yazviak sends it into Soderski, and it number 22 puts it in the back of the net for us. So that's another little club history moment. Our first own goal that goes our way. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Let me ask you something now. If the Houston player doesn't put that in the back of his own net, does Soderski make that?
It seems like he was all over it, and they're only like 2-3 yards out from the goal line. Unfortunately,
that might not be the question. The question was the position Steve Clark was in, and what direction. If he would have put it in the corner to the left, he would have made it. If he would have shot it straight, Steve Clark was right there, and by the own goal is I don't know, but
yeah.
Soderski, I mean, it was open goal. He would.
Well,
He would have.
the reason I ask
made
is because of against Montreal, he had an open net. He shot at the keeper, it bounced off, and it went right back to him, and it was open net, and he was 2 feet away and blasted it over the goal. So being an open net is not always a guarantee.
No, and we saw that.
No, that's true.
We saw that from Yazviak right after we had that on goal where he had the open net and he missed it. I think if Vargas was in instead of Yazviak, I think that goal would have went in. I think Vargas can make that same type of run, and he's just a little more accurate. I'm not just saying that because I favor Colombian players. I just think he's a little better. But Soderski and Yazviak seem to link up a little better.
Yeah, and then to kind of just touch on that moment there, the great pass from Ruiz great for Ruiz to win that ball, play Soderski into that space, and then for Soderski to find Yazwiak. But just kind of want to touch on Ruiz real quick. What do you think of his performance?
Ruiz had a pretty decent run there. He sent balls into open space. I mean, he did basically what Bender would do, which was make plays for other players, take up the open space, make the runs, pressure. Like he did what he was supposed to do, and he played a physical game too. Like
I just felt there was a lot of times where he disappeared sometimes. Like I didn't know if maybe just the pressure of starting was a little bit much sometimes, but I mean he definitely had some very high highs, but also just kind of thought he kind of just disappeared sometimes. Like there was moments where I forgot he was on the field until the announcer said something because I don't know, didn't quite see the same like work rate of getting back as Bender, but I mean, when Ruiz gets on the ball and he has players running in front of him, I mean, he's definitely one of the best on the team of just playing that perfectly weighted through ball.
It's funny you say that. I thought the same thing about McNeil. Like I was, when he got the ball and he made those plays, I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. We need to keep him on either the bench or give him more starts. But then it'd be a while, and I'd be like, oh, that's right, yeah, he's on our team. I'd be like, who is that?
Yeah, that can happen in our midfield. Guys just tend to disappear for a little bit. Awesome. Well, any final thoughts on that first half? I mean, I know we had a couple other chances there, and looked like we might get a second before the end of the half. But I mean, what else did you want to cover before we jump to the second half?
Besides that, I mean, I thought the first half was pretty even. It was like 50-50 possession, going back and forth. Houston kept up the pressure even after their own goal. It almost seemed like a second one was gonna drop before the half ended. But no, good first half there on our guys.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into the second half. OSG Herman, what did you guys think of it? Coming back out. And I guess my first question is, what were you hoping to see in that start of the second half, and then what did you end up seeing from your perspective?
I was definitely expecting a more aggressive mentality. Was not impressed with the first half. What I told you on our show last week prior to the game, no, I don't think not one bit of it happened. Nagamura started two defensive mids, and we just played. I don't know why. We're at home. We're playing Charlotte. Unfortunately, it's not won a road game yet in their existence for this season, which is only a season. But like, why are we playing defensive? We should be pushing and attacking and threatening. And it was just, man, it was just disappointing. So once we come into the second half, I think they tried, but we could not connect in the final third, and y'all continue to push back against us, and y'all would connect in the final third and threat. And so I was sitting back in my seat. I wasn't sitting on the rails getting anxious. I was sitting back on my seat, just kind of disappointed, waiting for something to happen, and just nothing came. That's kind of how I felt pretty much the whole game, to tell you the truth.
Yep, you almost predicted the scoreline though. You did say we were going to win 3-1.
Don't correct yourself. I did say 3-1. You are right. I did say 3-1.
And Pablo, you kind of missed it, but I think it was right after the own goal. I had tweeted something, and OSG replied, "Yeah, I think it'll finish 3-1 though." And I just kind of quickly replied, "Yeah, I think we could put two more in. I could see that." And it was just a great little Twitter moment.
You were lucky to even get that reply, because I do a do not disturb during the games, and I don't reply. And probably hence why you got on 17 times and me once. But it's like I put the phone away, I do everything, and I just watch the game. And good luck. You don't see me until I get home, which was 2.5 hours after the game.
Yeah.
And I can vouch for that. Like I've seen it with my own eyes. Like he literally puts it on the not disturb and watches the game. Has a notebook and writes down notes on his observations throughout the game. So
That's
he's
awesome.
not just he's not like he didn't want to respond. It's just he literally like, nope, I'm focused at the game.
I didn't see it.
Now, were both of you guys at the game?
Yeah, we usually OSG is nice enough to invite me. He has season tickets, so we usually go together. But because it was like 4th of July and they had fireworks, I kind of bought tickets for my family so we can go to the game together. So we didn't get to sit together this time, but yeah, both of us were there.
Nice. And he'll be with me this week for the big one.
Yeah, the big one. Derby match coming up. That'll be good. So Herman,
that's why I sent you the. That's why I sent you the. I was sitting near the what they call quote unquote the sorter section. And yeah, there was a row, and I took a picture and sent it to you on the thread we had at the game. So
Mhm.
I don't know if they made the trip from Carolina or what, but yeah, there was a good chunk of like a row full of Charlotte fans. And what's cool is that after the game, like there was a Charlotte player, I don't know his name, but he actually came to the stands and like interacted with those fans. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a little group that definitely travels to a lot of the away games, so that is nice to see that we have some fans that are willing to travel. So give me your perspective on the second half, Herman, and what you think was going to happen, and then as it unfolded before you, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, no, the what I think was going to happen is exactly what happened, minus us not scoring. I think we were going to keep pushing even farther up until we scored, looking for the goal. Like we mentioned at the start of the second half, there was a beautiful, beautiful through ball um, that sadly, well, good for us, sadly for y'all, didn't get scored. But again, we pushed up, no clear scoring opportunities. Um, I was thinking we were going to tie, and then if we tied, then anything can happen. But it was, I think, like the 70th minute or something like that. It felt like that, like 15, 20 minutes left in the game. Um, oh yes, there was a chance where y'all could have sealed the game before y'all scored the second one. Like it's the same guy that
You're not
scored.
talking about you're not talking
Yeah.
about the corner.
Say
No, he's
what?
talking about Shinshinsky's around the 72nd minute. The
Same guy
game's
that scored. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
He
whiffed one
Yeah, he
with a
did,
great
man.
ball from Gaines.
he's done
Yeah.
that once or twice before as well.
He's got
Yeah.
like
I did.
he's scored a lot of goals, but some of his shots, especially from distance, they're just like these little daisy cutters. Like, I don't know. I'd like to see him kind of put his laces more through the middle of the ball instead of on top, and just kind of put a little more power into it, make the goalie work a little more for it. He sometimes just places them well, but kind of slow and just rolling on the ground.
Yeah, he tries to like curl him in.
Yeah. And then after that, it was kind of like, shit. Like
Yeah.
after the second goal, it was like, yeah, we're not gonna do nothing. We're not gonna do anything because we weren't, even though we were pushing, we weren't creating clear scoring opportunities, right? Uh, Thankfully, Darwin Quintero, the little magician, like we talked on the show, that little scoop pass. I don't know if y'all played FIFA, but like L triangle or L square, that's what it felt like,
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that pass. I think Colombians just are born with knowing how to do that pass. And I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. Pablo and I, this past spring, we played in a pickup team, and I actually have made that pass to him for him to score on a breakaway. So
Tell me the video.
The score.
yeah, he put it away. Pablo's deadly
Okay, good.
sometimes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we
Juan
link up
Pablo
pretty
Angel,
well.
dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, we got Juan Pablo Angel on the line, dude. Yeah, dude. But no, that little, I honestly, it's funny that play, live. I was like, oh, he's not offside, even though it looked way offside, right? Like I was like, no, I saw it rapid time, real time. I was like, nope, he's not offside. He was barely on. Then I go look at the replay and I'm like, oh shit, that might have been outside,
That's funny you say that. When they
Yeah.
showed their replay, I didn't think he was offside.
I didn't either.
Because I know it's like your shoulder has to be past the. I'm pretty sure that's still the rule. But I mean, from the moment the ball leaves Quintero,
I'm
he
gonna
looked
take a
onside.
screenshot and I'll post it on the Discord chat that we got going on the channel. That way we can, and y'all can see the shot that I'm looking at. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but yeah, happy that the goal stood. Sadly, the player that scored it might leave us. But it was a great finish nonetheless. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
like we said,
we can't skim on the finish either. I mean, that control with
no,
the chest
oh
and
hell
then
yeah, with the chest,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Just
I'm glad
yeah,
that goal didn't get disallowed because it
Then
was
yeah.
just,
the
I mean,
nutmeg.
that's a goal of the
That's
season
that's
contender.
always the guy that scored it is OSG's favorite player.
looking at some of your previous matches, him and Quintero seem to have a good link up going.
But they do, and the sad thing is that I think they chemistry wise, I don't think they on the field they have it, but off the field I don't think they have it.
They're not
I could be
boys.
wrong. I could be wrong. I could be
And
wrong.
they argued about a penalty kick earlier in the season
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And
hilarious.
in
you're
front
right.
of everybody.
I was gonna say you're right, OSG. It's he did also make the keeper on that goal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
But
did,
yeah, you can kind of see it there. Man, his shoulder's not past the line.
I
I
saw
don't
his
know.
left hand. That's why I was like,
For
I don't know if that counts.
perspective wise, for goal differential and helping us out move up on the tables, I wish they would have called it offsides. But I mean, the way the pass was made and
Yeah,
how he
too
received
stylish
it and
of a
just put it
goal.
in, I was like, hey man, that's a good goal. Like,
That goal was way too stylish for it to be disallowed. I mean,
yeah,
he could have been,
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
another
hey,
yard offside. I would have
who's
allowed it. That was way too good
who's
of
the
a
left
finish.
center back? Who's the left center back standing right there?
I think that's Lindsay.
He's got a nice ass. He's the one who kept Pop calls.
I think that's Fuchs.
Is that Fuchs?
Yeah,
Is it?
I think that's
Oh,
Fuchs.
you're
Yeah,
talking about the left. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see that.
you're right there, right there, yeah. Standing
It
at
might
the
be
18 on line,
It's probably
the
because
one keeping him on.
yeah, he's a little older, so he's probably winded trying to like bend down to catch his breath.
Well, it's his fault. Or his butts, but it's his butts.
But credit's given to where credit's
but-
due. That was a good goal.
But
Yeah,
it was a good
absolutely.
goal because like Fafa made the run, right?
Oh, yeah.
Before that, it was only the striker playing with his, like if you notice the other guy to the right of Fafa, he's asking for the ball, right, with his back behind the goal. That's literally how the strikers were playing. None of them were making that run that Fafa's making. Finally, someone made a run for that wing, and good things happen. Aside from the wing backs, right? Aside from the wing backs, when I cropped off the picture, I cropped off the left back at the bottom of the screen, but that was basically our attack. It's like y'all knew what was coming. Like we're gonna clog the middle. As soon as the striker gets him, everybody pressure him, take the ball away from him. And
Yeah.
if they do it on the wings, okay, go back to the box and defend the cross. So we didn't until someone made a run like that, we weren't dangerous.
Oh yeah. If you go back and look at some of the game highlights, there was definitely heavy pressure on Quintero. I think some of the defensive
Oh yeah.
plans where it's just to shadow him. And going back to, I believe OG said it, Ferreira, number 9, you could tell that he was frustrated for the lack of opportunities going his way. Like a lot of the aerial balls that came his way, he just couldn't make anything happen. And even when he was subbed, I don't think he even walked up to the halfway mark. It looks like he just walked out of the by the
behind
goalkeeper.
behind
Yeah.
the goal. Yeah.
So you could
Yeah.
see the frustration there.
He was pissed. I think, it was early. It was the 70th minute, but it was like the 60 something.
Yeah, like the 61st minute.
We've
Yeah.
seen that this season. Seabass wants to play 90, and Naga's subbed him out, and Naga's come out and said, he's like, nothing's working right now. It's just we're not getting the ball. I'm gonna just take him out and reserve him, and blah blah blah. It's like,
Right.
so, and he did it again. And Seabass, you're right. He was getting frustrated because he was playing with his back to the goal, and when we did get the ball up there, it was happening so fast that your defenders still had him marked, and there's nobody
Mhm.
drawing the
He
defenders
lost it.
away. So we're stuck by Chuck. It's
Yeah.
just, the tactics suck, and Nakamura didn't make the adjustments properly.
And
Yeah.
then just for your fans, like, who the hell is Sebas? Why do we care about this guy? This is Ferreira, Paraguayan striker. I think also 23 or 24. He starts for the
23.
Paraguayan national team. Yeah, 23. And we broke our our transfer record for him this offseason. So he's not a DP, but we did break our transfer record to bring this man. So he's proven
So now
earlier.
real quick before you
Uh-huh.
go back into see about to clarify, because you just say, hey, we just transferred. Y'all are thinking like, I'm just being in Hector Herrera. So the transfer record was 6.5 million, I think, for Sebastian Padilla coming from Paraguay. He's got 3 stars for the Paraguayan national team now, and he's got all 3 since he started for the Dynamo. But Hector Herrera was technically a free agent, so that was a free transfer. And Hector Herrera is
Right.
the most expensive salary. Yeah, most, but we're comparing to Charlotte and their
That's a
fans
good
just to
clarification.
just to let them know because they just made history and we're talking about history. We need just to make sure because we're glad to be a part of the history. It sucks, but whatever. Charlotte gets to mention Houston forever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll always be tied.
Yeah.
But it's a good clarification. Like these European stars that come from Europe, like you're not paying the team a fee. It's like you're getting them at the end of their contract, and then you pay them a high salary, which is exactly what we're doing for Hector Herrera. You know, giving him. I could be wrong. I think it was 6.5 million a year. But for Sebas, I need to check that OSG. I thought it was 4.5. But anyways, the point is that we broke our transfer fee for this guy, so that's why we keep talking about him.
Well, I do like that your manager made that decision to take out number 9 there early on in the second half, because that's kind of Andres and I kind of our little con that we have with this current seat warmer manager. I don't know if he's going to stay or not, but he tends to make his subs late. But your manager recognized the problem, dealt with it immediately, and like you said, your magic man made it happen. It's like, man, first you see him, first you don't. Like, that guy was onside, and next thing you know, he's scooping the ball with his chest, and it's in the back of the net. It's a good goal.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think, man, and this is just my personal opinion. Like, as fans, and I apologize for the language, we bitch and complain about every little thing, that doesn't go right. If he makes subs and we lose, oh, he's tweaking too much with the lineup. And if he doesn't make subs and we lose, man, make some subs, be bold, But that being said, the previous manager that we had played the same guys, So for us, it's like we went from 0 to 100 real quick. So like, is it too many changes? But I do respect the fact that Paulo, he's still, and OSG, I know he's on his boat, and he'll let you know about it right now. Like for me, I'm more patient. I see the bigger picture. This is the start of the rebuild. But also fans want to win today. So like for me, it feels like the coach is still trying to figure out his formation. But I also see OSG point, and he has a good point. He's gonna let you know. But
No.
Yeah.
I agree with you. We're not worried about the fans, and Nakamura's not worried about the fans, and Pat Offset not worried about the fans. Only the aspect of bringing the culture back in. But as far as like the fans who they want to start, we're definitely not worried about that. But I agree with you, man. I do. I 100% agree with you, Milan. You're right.
Yeah, so I like that Ferreira. I like that Paulo is not afraid to mix it up. And then according to transfer market,
what is he?
yeah,
18 games in.
but I like it. But I like the boldness. Like he's not afraid. So, which is good. And then according to transfer market, OSG was right. 23-year-old, and then 4.3 million for Ferreira. That is our club transfer fee record.
He's got incentives in that contract that boosted up to 6.5. I think.
Okay, good deal. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to hear you guys talk about how your manager last year just kept playing the same guys over and over. And my gosh, I mean, that's what the first half of this season was like for us with Miguel. I mean, it was just same substitutes, same starting lineup, or same rotation of guys, and you just could not figure out why. And Charlotte is now on the other side of it, where you got a manager who is mixing it up, and it is funny. Yeah, as fans, we do tend to kind of bitch and moan about everything. I think last week or at the Austin game, people were kind of complaining that he didn't make from a Charlotte perspective, that he made subs too late in the game, and this game he's clearly still learning. This is his first season as a head coach, and this game he took out Quinn McNeil and put Bender in after 61 minutes. Took out and he took out Reyna and put Moore on, which Moore is a right back. It's usually Fuchs. What do you call it? He usually is like second choice when Fuchs is injured. That's usually when he'll start. But he played him on, which I thought was a little too defensive for being only up 1 goal. But then at the 71st minute, he puts on Gaines and Shinyashinsky and takes out Yazwiak and Swiderski and kind of goes for that second goal. And that's also something that Charlotte fans, especially myself, complained about when he first took over, was sometimes he was making too defensive of substitutes, and he's clearly learning, figuring out who he can trust, how he wants to play. So it definitely, as you guys are saying, takes a little bit of time, takes some patience, and hopefully you guys get on the other side of it soon, and it looks like Charlotte's getting to be that way as well.
We're both on the same boat. We're moving forward, and we're very optimistic. Like Herman said, we just got Ted Siegel. I think it was 14 months ago. So let's just call this our second season to our expansion, to our first season to expansion. So we're building for the future.
Yeah.
Houston 2.0.
Yeah, because literally we had our first season, we won the championship. Our second season, we won the championship again. So we experienced success early on in our franchise history, right? Like the first 5 years were so fruitful and successful, and you
And
had
that was
something going.
05, 06, and then we did it again in 11-12, but we lost to the Galaxy twice in the World Cup. So it wasn't like we were handed it at the San Jose team, and then
Right.
Okay, we're done, but we continued for
we
several
sustained
years
it.
actually. Yeah.
But then after a certain individual came into play,
Michael Jordan,
MJ,
that's
the jump man,
call him that.
yeah, it just started going downhill. And I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. The last decade, the last 10 years for Dynamo has been terrible, man. Like we haven't been the protagonists that we were when the first years of the franchise. And now we see this owner, he's from the Northeast. He's come, and I honestly believe we're a sleeping giant. Obviously I'm biased, but Houston is 7 million people here, man. Like it should not be hard to fill a 20,000 seat soccer stadium, but it is, and like that crowd that we had against y'all, 19,000. That's I don't think I'm exaggerating. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm only off by a couple numbers. That was our best crowd of the year.
It sounded like it on TV.
242.
That was the takeaway I had when watching it on TV, was just how loud the crowd was, and nonstop. I mean, it was pretty cool. I imagine that's a very cool place to go watch a match. It was a very loud crowd that game.
Same
can't
here.
Cannot call that a very cool place to go to.
Yes, that is
hashtag cool.
Yeah, no, it is extremely hot, man, hot and humid, and that's some challenge for us that I don't know how the hell we're gonna, the product on the field is gonna have to help overcome that uncomfortableness, man.
You have to build a dome.
30 miles. It's 30 miles from the ocean. Yeah, they built it 10 years ago, and they built it after Minute Maid, which I don't know why they didn't put it and Reliant too. Yeah, so they should go through, but we're 30 miles from the ocean, so we don't get that actual breeze, and we're just hot and humid and sweaty, and there's no airflow, and it's in the middle of downtown. So once a third of the side of the stadium is covered by the buildings, and where are you going to get your airflow from?
Yeah.
And the other reason, just so your fans know, this is rare for us, okay? Because we're in the rebuild, right? But the marketing team did fantastic. They had a promotion, our area code, or one of our many, but the very first area code of a Houston phone number is 713. So the promotion they had was $7 tickets, $1 hot dog, $3 beers, and post game fireworks.
Oh
That
wow.
by far contributed to the number of people that showed up to the game that day as well. So that has to be mentioned, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But the point in all of this is that the guy that Ted Siegel, we call him Daddy Ted out of love. Daddy Ted. The man has come in here, wants to bring back the glory days. So the goalkeeper from our first two championship days, Pat Onstad, he's now our GM. So there's investment going into the club, and the club and the front office are actually trying to create or recreate the connection that there used to be with the fan base. It's just they're trying to do this the right way, which I respect and I support. It's just everything that's done right will take time.
A quick question for you then. I had a friend in high school who was a big Dynamo fan. Where does Stuart Holden fall for you guys? Is he a club legend or was he not? Okay.
For me,
There's not an
legend.
option to be.
Yeah, go ahead, OSG. Go ahead, OSG. Yeah.
No, there's not a lot. There's not an option to be. That's all I'd say. It's legend.
Yeah, he's a legend. Our very first playmaker was Dwayne De Rosario from Canada, right?
Yeah,
Hero. But after because he was kind of old, he was at the end of his career when we won those championships. And the reason we sustained success was because we had this youngster from the youth academy, local kid, I think he's from Scotland as well, like has Scotland roots. And it was Stuart Holden. He stepped into that creative midfielder role, after D-Row left, and helped the club along with Brad Davis have success after Dwayne De Rosario left, So for me, for the performances, for what he did in Europe, and for me, because he was grown in our system as a youngster, that's why he's a club legend.
And
then obviously now that he's a known FS1 broadcaster, that's the cherry on top, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then there was a story I heard. I don't know if it was true or not, that he played a double header once. Once he played a full 90 for Houston and then played 90 for the US team. Is there any truth to that story?
Did the internet tell me? No, I can't answer that.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be right. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I doubt very seriously that's.
Yeah, because I remember when I heard that, I was like, that's not physically possible.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I'm leaning on no. I don't want to tell you wrong info.
Well,
it's a very nice front office response.
To keep the legend alive, we'll say he did. We'll say he scored hat tricks in both matches.
And the legend grows.
Yeah.
The thing that sucked about him,
like 6 goals in 100.
Yeah, the thing that sucked is like the injury bug, got to Europe, because I used to follow him in Bolton, and I wanted him to succed, He
just got that nasty tackle that ruined his career.
Yes,
I remember seeing that. Yeah. But let's jump back into the match. So we kind of heard what you guys thought of the second half. Any final thoughts? I don't want to cut your time short or anything.
No. I'm good. I mean, I thought we were gonna tie. I did start the "Let's Go Dynamo" chant at the 80th minute. If y'all heard that on TV. The only other point that we didn't talk about, bad mistake on our part. We had a corner, like right after we scored the goal, and dude, like it was a one-man counterattack. Thank God that the goalkeeper saved it, and the attacker kind of took away his own angle. But
yeah, it took one too many touches.
Yeah,
he was like, "This is too easy. This is too easy." I just ran 70 yards as well.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
so to give you guys and any of your fans that listen, that's Mackenzie Gaines. That is like his signature, is just how fast and explosive he is. I don't know
Okay.
how many times he's found himself on a breakaway and just not put it away. I don't think he's scored in the MLS yet. He had 2 or 3 in the Open Cup, but yeah, I mean he can just break away really quickly. I mean
He
what
did.
is he? I don't remember if he intercepted the pass or got played the pass,
He
but then
did.
just
He intercepted it.
He
yeah,
intercepted it.
and then
He
passed it
intercepted
to himself and just outran that defender.
Yes.
And then, like you said,
Oh,
yeah,
hold
just
on.
No, he didn't.
We
It
can't.
wasn't a
We can't.
defender. It was a Quintero. He
It was
outran
Darwin.
him.
It was Darwin.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
He can't
still,
call, and you can't call that an interception either. That was a direct pass from the corner to Charlotte, and then he's like, oh, hey, he's like, turn. Barra, I think Barra was taking the corner. Quintero was taking Barra, whoever was taking the corner. He passed it to Charlotte, and I think he yelled turn. So Charlotte turned, and 70 yards later, side that.
yeah,
I
he's
know.
if he can just clean up his finishing, he's gonna be very dangerous with that speed.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's coming. He's a young guy, still developing and learning.
Yep.
Now
But that
the
brings me to
number 15, Bender. That's your draft pick, right? This year.
Yeah, he was the number 1
Yeah.
draft pick.
That guy. Yeah, he's good, dude.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good,
He's-
bro. I was
They
like,
don't need
I wish
to be
this
I wish
told
I
that
could have
anymore.
this little
They've already
fudger.
boosted.
But that does bring me to a question I had for you guys in regards to that play where Gaines takes the ball down and Quintero's trying to keep up with him.
He's tired. I'm surprised he ran that long, honestly.
Right, yeah, you can see him like try, and then he just kind of drifts off, and the goalie,
You know
cleans
who
that
the
up.
other guy was though?
That's
The
the
other
box
guy
to
that was
box
their pressure?
midfielder. Yeah,
Huh? Yeah.
I'm
That
telling
dude
you,
has
Yeah.
that dude has stamina for days, bro.
I
So
would
I
would
was
take him
gonna-
in a heartbeat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he is good. But
Yeah.
what's crazy here too.
It doesn't matter, right? That doesn't show in the box score, but like
No.
Yeah.
when you analyze it, you're like, oh damn.
But what I was gonna ask you was, with Quintero, you see him kind of gas out there at the end. Is he still a full 90-minute player, or does he need to start and get subbed off 70, 80 minutes in, or come on in the second half? Like, I know you guys love him. He's your goal scorer. He's your magic man. We saw it here in this game. But going into your rebuilding season, does he stay on the starting lineup and then somebody? I mean, you got to have a sub for him. I'm thinking late in the or midway through the second half, because to me, just looking at the past few games in this game, he doesn't look like he's like a full 90-minute player type of guy. What do you guys think?
So,
OSG will tell you. Yeah, go ahead, OSG.
yeah, 100%. So Darwin Quintero is on this last season, I think, in his life. He's not going nowhere else. Someone's going to pick him back up. So we brought in the new ownership, and Tab Ramos didn't use him properly. And so he didn't get the exposure that he needed. But Pat Alcett saw something in him, and he signed him for another 1-year contract. He was a DP last season, by the way. He is no longer a DP, so we just said, all right, we want to bring you back. We know you can do something for us. We know he's not a full 90-minute guy. We demand that he starts, and you play him as long as you can, and then you do sub him out. Now, we're still trying to figure out that formation. Not the formation. We're still trying to figure out the players that fit in those positions, which is we need a left winger and we need a right winger right now. Right now, we're using Thor, who is a typical striker. He's coming out of college as well, like Bender is. But we're using him on the left wing. We're missing our right wing. So we're missing wingers, true prolific wingers. We have the midfielders we want. Ache is coming in. We got Coco Carrasquilla, the haired guy. And then we have Matias Vera in the back that plays the defensive mid. If you don't play the defensive mid, then Darwin Quintero starts in that middle, and it's a triangle. And Hector Herrera and Coco Carrasquilla are going to back up Darwin Quintero. And I think that's what we're going to look forward to coming in the future or for the next few games. And Thor will be on the left, and then some random guy right now will be on the right. But the window opens in 2 days. and I think we're going to fill that position. And it's going to be somebody that's attacking and likes to play, likes to take on defenders 1v1. So Dynamo are still going to evolve this season. Is it going to be enough to push us into that playoff spot? I don't know. I predict you 6-9 is where we finish this season, and I'm hoping that we can finish that way. But we're optimistic.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yep.
hopefully, we have an excess of midfielders and wingers, so
Yeah, maybe we can make some
keep
kind of trade.
those trade routes open. We'll keep those trade routes open and send some guys on loan.
We gave you Jones some money. Can you get? I mean, I don't know. Can you give us somebody that can score?
No trade backs.
Because you're not giving that guy up. So, yeah. Y'all took the bus home or the flight home, so we'll see you in Houston in 3 years, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, OSG thinks that this is Quintero's last season. I hope to God no, because the man still has magic left. The answer to your question is no, he's not a 90-minute. What I hope happens is we find the starting creative midfielder, but we use DQ as a sub. That would be ideal for me, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the end, that would be someone we can rely on in the starting lineup, and then Darwin Quintero comes in and plays 30 minutes with his magic. But right now, he's being asked to start. We need him to start, so I don't think it's fair to him. If he wants to be a role player off the bench, then maybe he has another year. But this roster is about to change in this offseason. 1 year with the new ownership, you give you a chance. 2nd year with new ownership, you're out the friggin' door if you didn't perform.
Yeah. So to kind of just jump back into the match, so we kind of heard your guys' perspective of the second half. Pablo, give me your perspective on the second half and Charlotte's performance and the eventual kind of game-winning goal.
No, we didn't talk about it too much. We pretty much covered everything else in the second half. But yeah, the 73rd minute, Bronico, who got man of the match for that game, he passed it to Shinachinski. He kind of drove it down the box, and he shot that between two defenders, and it looked like, if I recall right, bottom right, somewhere in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of nail on the coffin somewhat until we saw that third goal there from Houston. I thought they were going to make a comeback, but that's what I was thinking. Basically, going into the second half is like, okay, like they made our own goal, but like we gotta put one in ourselves to make this first away game win legitimate. And I was glad that he was able to do that. Trying to debate on who should get the starting role at the top, whether it be Swiderski or Shinachinski, because those two, they're our main goal scorers right now.
Yeah, and Shinachinski just took over for top scorer of the team now with 5.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So it's gonna be a battle. But Swiderski had a very good first half as well. Like he had some shots.
Yeah.
None of them went in, but you can't expect them all to go in. And Shinachinski, we've seen him have some wide open shots on goal and miss him. So It's very back and forth on like who I would pick to put at the top of that formation.
Yeah, and then the only thing I wanted to add to that is I was just surprised that that's the chance that went in, because it was probably the tightest angle and the most covered, and he kind of duffed the shot. And out of all of the chances we created, for that one to be the one that actually goes in was kind of surprising, because I thought he maybe had taken one too many touches and was going to deflect someone or go right to the keeper, and just how crowded that box was and stuff. And you just never know how it's going to come out,
Yeah, I was kind of mad at our center back for not coming at him when he was coming into the box. Like I felt like he let him walk into the box and get comfortable on his left, But I do agree that he mishit that, like he didn't mean to hit it like that.
No, he definitely scuffed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, just out of all the chances Yazwiak had one-on-one with the keeper very early in the second half from that great through ball from Reyna. Just didn't finish that. Shinushinsky had a chance before that we covered where he duffed that one. So it was just odd that that's the one that went in. But hey, we'll take what we get, you know. What else?
That's what.
Go ahead.
That's what happens whenever we're congesting the box and the defenders just. We've seen it this season with Steve Clark. He makes great saves, but sometimes it feels like he gets blocked and he gets obstructed sometimes, and those defenders are just getting too close and they're not respecting Steve Clark's space. And like Armand said, they're not pressing, and that gets the keeper in trouble, and he can't react and he can't make a save. And your guy. I think he saw that window right there, and he's like, I'm just gonna try it, and it worked. And congrats to y'all. Y'all deserve the win. Y'all played y'all's game. Y'all didn't adjust from it, and
it's funny you say we played our. It's funny you say we played our game because I felt like one thing that's been really different in this game, and I think it has to do a lot with the new manager, is we've really started to capitalize on breakaways. Where before, when Miguel was the manager, we would get breakaways and the player would just hold the ball up and wait for everyone to get into the half. And I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 instances of that happening over the course of the first 10 games. Don't you think, Pablo? I mean, that used to be something that we would get pissed about all the time. Is just we get a breakaway and we just hold the ball up. We don't take the space. We don't charge at the goal. Nothing. And that was definitely something very different that I noticed against Houston.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. Just like it seemed like anytime we had the ball at the top of the boxes, we'd either get we'd kind of stop the flow of the play and try to work it to the sides to get a cross in, or just like work it all the way back. And I was like, why are we doing, like, I get we're playing possession, but we also figured the team didn't really have too much time to train. That there was no team chemistry, so you don't know where guys are at. Whereas now it's like, you kind of know what to expect, where the runners are going to be at, things like that. But it seems like ever since Miguel left, the team is just playing differently. They're free flowing a lot more, and guys that barely saw any starting minutes are starting to get more minutes on the field
and have an impact too.
They're being real impactful, and you see that. So now it's like that's why our lineup changes so much, like game after game. It's like it doesn't at this point, it almost doesn't matter. In some cases it doesn't matter who you put in, because like they're gonna give it their all, and it's gonna be a pretty good game.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts on the match, Pablo?
No, I think, that about, I would say, wraps it up. It's our first away win. Glad it finally happened. 3 points. Kind of moves us up in the table. We're still out of the playoff match. Next we face Nashville, which I know Houston, you guys already faced them. Beat them back in, what was it, like around May 14th? You guys beat them 2-0.
Being at home.
Yes, yeah. Any tips that for us coming up? They're coming to our house.
I could give you a tip, but it would be exactly what I told you a few days ago prior to this match. But I would say we defended the middle, and Mokhtar, I forget how to pronounce his name. He just wasn't able to get any open ground and able to perform, and they ended up subbing him out early because his form was off. But Nashville just couldn't get their chemistry together. I think that's just what the difference was. Like you just said, Charlotte tried something different. They pushed forward, and they continue to push forward and get those up. Try to just go for those opportunities. And if you don't go for the opportunities, you're not gonna succeed. And I kind of feel like that's what Houston did against us. We didn't go for those opportunities. We didn't push. and it was like a daisical, like an energy, especially for the moment we were having that night. The atmosphere. It was just, I'm so angry at that performance. But I give y'all a lot of credit. Like I said, y'all played y'all's game. Y'all didn't back off from the tactics at all. I didn't see y'all adjusted at all. You played your game and stuck to it, and Dynamo didn't perform. Charlotte won, deserved it. Great win. Like you said, it's history, and I can say I'm a part of history as well. Armand, are you a part of history?
I
He's
guess
a
I
part of
was,
history
bro.
too. You're a part of history. You were there. One of the 19,242 that attended this game. So we have our tickets. Charlotte wins their history. We'll get them back next season.
And you guys are history on the podcast now too. First 2 guests ever.
Oh, that's right. I thought you meant history and you're about to hang up on us. No. But no.
I
Oh.
did have some. I was gonna say I did have a little bit of notes on. I watched the replay on the Nashville and Portland game, and Nashville does have some, I guess, weaknesses where they give up some sloppy fouls, and they're also pretty sloppy about cleaning up their box. They were up 2-0 in that first half, and the second half Portland comes in and they couldn't clean up what was that ball inside the box, and they gave up that 2-0 lead and ended up tying the game 2-2 with Portland. So there's a little bit of hope there for us. I'd say score predictions for us, maybe it's like a 1-0, hopefully. But
just so you know, Nashville's a bit of an oddity this season. They obviously opened their new stadium this season, but they started their first 9 games on the road, and I think they were in third or fourth place after those first 9 games to start the season in the West, and then they kind of just transitioned downhill. So nobody knows what Nashville really is right now. So be worried, play your game. Don't let Nashville beat you.
Yeah, especially at home. Charlotte is a very different team at home. I think that bridge between who we are away and who we are at home is coming closer together compared to the beginning of the season. But if you guys ever have the opportunity to come up to a Charlotte game, I highly recommend it. It's a very very fun atmosphere, and the team does respond really well to the fans and the crowd. It's a very different team. I think we'll be able to put up more than one goal in against Nashville at home.
Yeah, hopefully Jones puts one in.
There you go.
And then you guys are facing Dallas next. This will be kind of like a revenge game for you guys as well.
We have a double derby.
Right.
A double derby. So Saturday we have Dallas at home, and then Tuesday we travel to Austin, and that's the end of the Copa Tejas for us, which is the last time we get to play any of the Texas teams for the rest of the season.
Interesting.
So this is a big. What? Today is Wednesday night. This is the next big 6 days for us. Hector Herrera gets his debut on Saturday, whether it be a start or a substitution in later, and then Austin literally 3 days later on the road. So huge Texas Derby for us, and a huge monumental moment for us in this season and going forward. These 2 games are going to be very decisive in which direction we're gonna move forward in this season, and it's going to be a struggle if we can't get points out of these next 2 games.
Well, we wish you guys all the luck. I don't have any closing thoughts. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to plug? Plug your show, your Twitters. Feel free to plug anything.
Yeah, where can we find you guys for our listeners?
Let us know, Armand.
So we are on Twitter as Dynalytics _. Our show, we post those on Spotify, and we do kind of like post game reactions on. We're still trying to find what works for us, but for now, Twitter Space.
I think Twitter Space is going to do it.
Okay. And thank you for joining us, by the way. After the match on July 4th when we did that um, Twitter Space post game, and
Yeah, thanks for
yeah,
having me and letting me gloat a little bit. That was a lot of fun. I wish I could have stayed around for longer, but I was on the road headed to some festivities with the dogs. But that was very cool to do.
yeah, no, I think the crowd that we have, they're chill. You know, like they, we know we got our behinds beaten. You know, it's just frustrating because we saw this as a winnable game and we got spanked, you know, at home, you know. So but no, the guests are pretty chill and they know their soccer, so it's a pretty good crowd. And you know, we share our opinions, what we saw. And no, it was good, it was good for sure. So thank you again for hopping on.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. What other plugs do you guys have for us? Where else can people find you?
So my
That's good.
personal, it's old soccer guy on Twitter, and then the same thing on Instagram. But Instagram, old soccer guy, that's he usually just is just posting videos from the game, just letting you know where we're at, and that's it. But Twitter is where you just follow, and if you, I don't like to banter too much. Banter like realistically with you, but I'm not gonna get unfactual banter with you. If you want to start telling me my team sucks, then you're probably not gonna comment back. But find me on the soccer guy. We love to talk to anybody and everybody, and since the season started, we've been interviewing every single team that we can get a hold of, and we've kind of been it's been fun. And just the database that we've been bringing on, and just if we wanna ask a question that's in California, we've got a couple people we can reach out to and just ask a question. It's just so fun. So guys, you're a part of it. We thank you for becoming a part of this umbrella, and one coming on our show, and then vice versa, inviting us onto your show. And it was a great game. We had fun, and we wish y'all the best of luck for the rest of this season and y'all's inaugural season.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. We wish the best of luck to you guys too. Pablo, any closing thoughts or anything?
No, just thanks for the opportunity, and supporting our club. We support you guys too, and beat Dallas.
Oh yeah.
100.
One last question as we close out.
Go for it.
Y'all, as in Charlotte FC, no correlation, no relationship between North Carolina FC? That's a question. The USL team?
I'm not sure about North Carolina FC, but we are connected to Charlotte Independence, which is a USL team
Okay.
as well. I think they're in
I
the
did not know
they're
about
the
Charlotte in the.
I think they're the
Okay,
third division.
gotcha.
You don't have an ex pro team?
No. I'd like to see that happen. But it's still the first season. Plenty of things to
Yeah.
grow.
Well,
Want to see our academy grow as well. And then obviously start
from my
calling some guys up.
understanding, every MLS team is gonna have an ex pro team within the next 3 or 4 years. So I think it's automatic that y'all gonna have one. So
I
but
think that I have a hunch that might be what the Independence turns into.
Yeah, I'm a
okay,
big fan of MLS Next Pro. I think it'll help all the MLS
it's
teams with their
so
young
beneficial.
development. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All righty. But
Well,
no,
hey,
thanks for having us. This was fun, man.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. And again, feel free to, we'll definitely have you guys on again sometime whenever the opportunity's right. And for our listeners, as you guys always know, you can find us at offsides_CLTFC on Twitter and Instagram. Same for YouTube. And if you like this episode, share it with a friend who you think might enjoy it. If you got some Houston friends, share this episode and kind of gloat to them. And, if you really liked it, leave a 5-star review and we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Until next time.
Let's go Dynamo.
The goal was not offsides.
Absolutely. Pablo, you want to close us out?
Nah.
All right, that'll
I'm
do
just
it.
kidding.
All right, we'll cut it there. We'll cut it there. We'll catch you. We'll catch you guys next week. We'll catch everyone next week.